What's up, current and future disc golf addicts? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be taking you along on a round at South Fork Landing in North Bend, Washington. This is a course I've played once or twice before on my channel, but also a course that I do particularly enjoy playing with the variety of shots that it offers, and being on an old golf course just makes it so much more enjoyable to play, not having to worry about spiky bushes or any nettles that your typical courses in the area would have. Hole 1, starting off easy with a short forehand hyzer. Hole 2, getting to take advantage of those old golf fairways. This is a hole that plays really well for a roller. This one in particular, I just didn't give enough cut and just tailed off a little bit to the right too soon. But this is one that is extremely uncommon to see birdies on. And if you have that rare look at it, it's something that you should be especially proud of getting. Hole 2 though, with the difficulty, it is one that you want to secure your par on. Hole 3, this is another forehand hole, a little bit of a tweener between a mid and a fairway forehand for me. I'm just kind of powering down on a Thunderbird hyzer. And this is one that, assuming you hit that initial gap, you should always be having a birdie look at. Hole 4, we have a triple Mando with these flags that you're seeing fly in the air. This is one I like to hang out a harp just a little bit right of the right Mando tree and fade in and try skip in. Do that well, but then it all comes down to the putting green and not capitalizing there on my drive. This is the one side that I do especially like about the course here in North Bend, is that you have your tricky holes where you're wanting to count on your pars, but you still have to earn every bit of them. Same for your birdies. Apart from maybe 2 or so holes, you have to play well to pick up your birdies, and to really string them together to put together a great round is something that's hard to do consistently, especially because it does challenge all parts of your game, throwing everything from your putters to your distance drivers. Maybe not as much for your pros, but for your AMs especially. Hole 6 being a great example of this. It's a 290-foot backhand turnover, and this is one I've traditionally liked throwing a putter on as hard as I can, and I know that if I hit it just perfect, it should be within the circle, but with the shape of the hole, it's just hard to find any consistency there. Hole 7, slightly downhill. The basket's in the middle of this bowl where these discs do collect, and so you're likely throwing something with a little bit of stability that will finish and kind of skip towards this bowl and where all the good drives filter, and then converting for your birdie. Hole 8, we do have a Mando right of the bushy tree, just off center, off your screen. This one had all the power to get there, but again, with that Mando tree, I was just being a little bit overly safe and not challenging it as much as I would have liked to get myself a legitimate birdie look here and try to card that too. Similar shape on hole 9, coming in a little bit shorter. Only thing to note here is the parking lot is OB, but we do have a sand bunker that is a hazard just in front of the basket. Seeing as though I was actually throwing pretty well this round, I decided to disc up to a disc I don't typically use, being my Lucid Defender. But this disc is so overstable that it took a massive skip center of the hazard. Especially lucky to convert my putt there and actually walk away with a par. Not something that you want to be relying on having to make your par putt from that sand bunker. Hole 10, really tricky. Not much room again for left or right movement. You do have a Mando tree that is left late in the fairway, about the 300-foot mark, maybe a little less, and so that also then makes you a little bit more hesitant to try to shape something left to right to get some easy distance. Hole 11, however, you do need to get a little bit of that left to right shape. For me, this is perfect for my Leopard 3. And as you see, it couldn't have gone much better there. Just leaving myself with a tap-in birdie. Hole 12 is a relatively straightforward hole. This is one that has been much more of a mental challenge for me, managing where you really want to land. If you do land underneath the basket, as you're seeing there, it is a very skippy green with those wood chips, and my disc just flies off just outside circle 1. And then with those putts, you can never count on making them, and so the challenge there is really finding the width that's perfect for the disc and power combination you're looking for. Hole 13, we do have an OB path off to the right, and so because of that, you really have two options to where you're looking at throwing a straighter forehand or this backhand flex shot, but you have to have something that will fade back so as to not find that OB. With this one big guardian tree in the fairway and being tucked off so far left, I tried to play a little bit of a higher hyzer line, but end up pulling it, still staying in bounds, actually pushing that OB path a little bit more than I would have initially liked. And close to converting, but just hitting the band there for my birdie. Hole 14 is technically an island hole where you're having to throw it over this initial gravel path, and then you have water right behind the basket. This particular hole does have two pin positions, to where the one we're playing to now is dead on from the tee pad and a lot more intimidating with that water right behind. So not one you want to be ace running unless you're willing to lose your discs. Hole 15 is a good pace hole where you really need to check and make sure that you're still paying attention. It's one that, although it does look a lot further than it is off the tee, is a gettable hole if you have that 350 foot hyzer power. I'd actually just lost one of my go-to wraiths for that particular shot, and so I was still learning what this wraith was doing. Still found my way into circle 2, but certainly not the amount of glide that I would have hoped to have had there. Hole 16, very unique, where being the old ball golf property that it is, there's this old fence right in the middle that was protecting an old tee pad, and so that makes the tee shot particularly interesting, to where you really have your three options of a low forehand out left, low backhand out right, or you can go over the top whichever way, and leaving some room for creativity there on how you choose to navigate it. Hole 17, we have an elevated basket. You have this low ceiling center line, but I'm trying to cut around the right, push over this OB path. But on this right side, there's two trees that are perfectly in line. Unfortunately, I do end up hitting the first initial tree on the right side, kicking OB onto the path, leaving me with a long jump putt approach there and just tapping in my bogey. A little bit unfortunate, seeing as though how good of a score I was putting together, but the last few holes on this course really do show its teeth if you try push for more than you can actually comfortably play for it within your game. Hole 18 is a very long par 3. For your amateurs, you're not looking at ever birdieing this one. If you can get to this ditch that I'm in, or even past it, that's already a sign of an amazing drive. And then best you can hope from there is a throw-in. But realistically, this is one that you do want to be guaranteeing your par on. Bringing me to a minus 550 at South Fork Landing, just one shy of my personal best. But nonetheless, a great round. If you enjoyed what you saw, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching.